Teresa, thank you for joining me here today. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to revisit something that I fully intended to continue throughout the course of the year, and with one thing and another, I only ended up doing two of this type of project, and they were quite early on in the year and I haven't gone back to them since. And that was my mixed media moods. Basically, I create a mood board, had a look on Pinterest, found some images that I liked based on a colour scheme. And the colour scheme for this is copper and teal. And I created this mood board of images. I will link this in my description below. I'll link it on my blog and you can print this out yourself if you want to. Go take a closer look at it. But basically, the premise of these projects was to take inspiration from what are in the pictures, whether it be the actual object itself, the colours, the textures, the shapes, however it inspires you to go and look at what you've got and create a finished project. This is the mixed media piece that I have completed based on those pictures using what I have, and it's a really straightforward and simple process that hopefully I can show you, demystify it and show you that it's not as complicated as at first it might seem. So I'm going to move these out of the way, get all set up, and I'll show you how to go about creating something similar. Before I begin doing mixed media projects, I like to try and gather together as many different items that I think I might want to use before I start. It just saves from having to sort of stop halfway through thinking, have I got something else that I could use, going rummaging for it, or worse than that, finishing your project and then opening a drawer, opening a box and going, oh, I wish I'd put this on there, you know, it would have been perfect. So I do like to spend half an hour or so just having a quick look through all my sort of different storage boxes of bits and pieces of mixed media products and pulling together a selection, as I say, of different things that I think I might use. Many of these things might not end up on the finished project, but I'd rather have them here to sort of look at and see if they work together. There may be the odd occasion that I just have to go and have a look for something else, but I try and get organised before I start. So looking at the mood board that I've created on here, obviously we've got the colour scheme of copper and teal. And there's different shapes and textures and objects on here that I'm trying to draw inspiration from. My base that I'm going to use is this MDF circular base. I used these on the previous couple of mixed media mood projects that I did earlier. I can give a quick measurement on that. 19 centimeters in diameter. Picked that up from a craft fair. So probably quite readily available from companies that do laser cut MDF, or indeed just cut yourself a couple of circles from some stiff card, stick them together and make yourself a nice base. If you can do this sort of project on a canvas board, doesn't have to be circular. I've just quite liked the format for this project. So to begin with, I've pulled out some paint. I'm going to want to put some paint down on the base. And I've got a couple of bottles here. It's the same colour, but this one's running out, so I've pulled out another bottle. This is cobalt turquoise hue. I really like that teal colour. And I've got this extreme sheen metallic copper as well. Both Deco Art products, but perfect match for my colour scheme. So I'm going to use those. I've also got a paint marker in a copper colour, and I've pulled that out because I might use that to colour some chipboard. But if you haven't got a paint marker, paint would be absolutely fine. Looking at my picture here, I quite like these glazed ceramic tiles. So when I was looking through the chipboard and MDF shapes I've got, I found these couple of products. This is an MDF laser cut shape in this sort of grid shape, and these are some decorative chipboards in, I would say, sort of like a Moroccan tile design. Don't have anything that looks exactly like brickwork, but I've taken inspiration and thought that they might be nice to add into the background. While I was looking at the chipboard, I found this pack here with some different leaves on, and I quite liked these two leaves here because they're very similar to the shape of the leaf in that picture there. So again, might add those in as well. And these MDF laser cut words, thought they were quite nice. I've got Beautiful, Wish, Vintage, Art and Original there in a pack. I think these were from Artful Days. If I remember, I'll pop a link to their website on the screen. But again, might just use those. I like to put a word as a focal point on mixed media projects. So again, just pulled those out and put them with what I'm using here. While I got the paint, I also pulled out this pouring medium. I'm not going to do a paint poured background, but this lamp here has got this sort of drip effect on it and the glaze. So I was thinking I might add a little pouring medium to the copper paint and just get it to drip in the background. We'll see how it goes. But that was just something, again, I was in the section where the paint was, pulled the pouring medium out. So onto some more embellishments. Again, just looking at what I'd got that fits with the colour scheme. This beautiful dress here has a lot of sequins on. So looking for shiny things, I've got here some gilding flakes in a copper colour. I also pulled out these beads, some just sets with little tiny beads in the right colours. Some little sparkly flat back gems, and a set here with some sequins. There's some little copper sequins in there. As you can see at this end, a selection of paper flowers and leaves. I don't really have exactly the teals and coppers, but I looked at this bouquet and there's some browns and creamy peach colours, orange colours. So I've pulled some of those out, and I do have some blue which I might put in. All depends whether it looks right against the paint. But again, I'd rather just pull out what I think might be of use, put it so that I've got it to hand, and then I can get on with deciding as I'm going through the actual project. The other thing that I found was some glazed beads. These were sort of blue and copper. Really liked these. And as I say, we've got these glazed ceramic tiles in this picture, so I really quite like the shiny effect. Found some metal embellishments. These like a coppery colour, this little copper spoon. And then although these two are a brass colour, they've got this verdigris on which does tie in quite nicely with the teal. So again, just pulled those out and popped these with everything else. And this little tag here, a copper coloured tag. So we've got those to look at. So for now, that's everything. I've got some heavy gel medium which I'll be using to stick things down. Obviously I'm going to have paintbrushes, water, some paper towel for cleaning up, but I think I'm pretty much set to get going. So the first thing I want to do is paint my base with this cobalt turquoise hue paint. Might need a couple of coats, one might do it, but we'll see. And when that's dry, I will drip some of this metallic copper paint on as well, and that will be our background. So now that's dry, I've given that a couple of coats and I'm happy with the coverage of that. I'm going to mix up a little of this metallic paint with a bit of pouring medium. I'm not convinced it's going to drip down how I want it to if I use it just as it is. So obviously, if you don't have a pouring medium, see if you've got an acrylic that's quite fluid. If you want to do this, you might be able to thin it down with a little bit of water, but as with all of this type of project, I'm using what I've got. I don't know what you have. You may or may not have some of this, but don't feel that you have to rush out and buy any of this. So this says to mix it 2:1 with fluid acrylics. So, yep, I'm just going to mix a little bit in this plastic cup. Don't need a great deal because I don't want to cover the entire surface. I'm going to set that just at an angle so that it can drip off any excess and dry. And as soon as that's dry, I can come back and start adding all the embellishments. While my background's drying, I thought I may as well paint some of these little MDF or chipboard shapes that I want to use. I've decided to go with this scrap inyak sort of Moroccan tile, Moroccan screen effect. I like that, it's very pretty. And I've chosen, out of the words, I've chosen the word original. I like the size of it, it fits quite nicely on the background. So I was originally going to just do them copper, but because they're going to be going over where the copper area is, I pulled out another paint, and this one's phthalo turquoise. And as you can see, it's a shade, it is quite considerably deeper, and I want it just to have a bit of contrast. So I'm definitely going to be doing this screen in this colour. Not sure about the word yet, but as I say, with these mixed media projects, we just sort of make it up as we go along, really. So I've had a little think. I've pulled out the two chipboard leaves as well. The leaves I'm going to use the same turquoise that I used in the background, but for the word I think I'm going to apply some of these gilding flakes. Now this company I don't believe is still going now, but these are like a variegated copper gilding flake. So they've got these sort of warm multicoloured tones. So I'll be applying a little gilding flake glue onto that and putting the gilding flakes on. But first I'm just going to paint these leaves. Now there are proprietary glues on the market. This one here is a Cosmic Shimmer Flake and Glitter glue, which is suitable for gilding flakes. What you really need is a glue that dries to a tacky finish. So use something like this, or indeed if you have one of these Zig two-way glue pens, if you apply it to the wood and let it dry before putting anything on it, it dries to this tacky finish and is absolutely perfect for gilding flakes. So it can be a lot less messy, it's also cheaper, and I find they work really, really well with gilding flakes. So just to make sure that you cover the surface, and just allow that to dry, and you'll notice it goes from a sort of very wet shiny finish to it'll have a slight sheen on it, but it won't be as wet looking. Once this is tacky, you can go ahead and apply the gilding flakes. I would just suggest popping it on another piece of paper or something, so that we can just tip the excess flakes back into this tub afterwards. And with gilding flakes, I just sprinkle them loosely over the surface. If you've got sheets of metal leaf, you could use that. Then you just want to take a brush or a sponge and just use it to remove some of the excess. And I think that looks really, really pretty. I love these multicoloured flakes. They just add a lot of interest. So then just tip our excess back into the pot. Now my paint's dry, or I'll say it's as dry as I'm going to let it get, because I don't have any more time really. But you know, it's, apart from a couple of these very thick areas where it's still a little bit tacky under the surface, it's dry enough for me to be able to work on. And really happy with that. I like that. I was trying to decide which way do I want the drips, and I like the drips coming across from the side, so I'm going to use it this way on. My little chipboard shapes are dry, so those are ready, and this little, the foiled word, really happy with that. So it's now time to start thinking about embellishments, and I'm going to be applying this this piece first, simply because it's going in the background. And then this, the order that I tend to work on with all these other little bits and pieces that we've got here, is I start with the largest things, get those in position, and then slowly fill in the gaps between those with smaller things. And then I'll finish off with bits like the beads and the smaller gems and some sequins. They'll probably be the last bits to go on there, just to fill in any spaces. So I've got a hot glue gun, I've got that heating up, that I'm going to use that for the bulkiest items. And then I've got, as I said at the beginning, some heavy gel medium, which I will apply some of the smaller bits with. But really, you can sort of position things on, just move them around, try and get a layout that you're happy with. And once you kind of know where you're going, you can start attaching them in place. I'm going to finish with a few sequins now, while those beads are drying in there. And for that, I'm just going to use, this is some PVA glue in a fine nozzled bottle, just so I can put little dots of glue. And then I find the easiest way to pick up the sequins, I mean, you can use tweezers, but this is a pick-up pencil. It's by a company called Sticks 2 here in the UK. But if you've got like a Stabilo All Chinograph pencil, that will work equally well. So I've got one of those in white as well, and basically it's just like a creamy, quite waxy lead, and it's just enough that when you dab it onto a sequin, it just sticks to the tip of the pencil, so that you can pick it up. So I find them quite handy. think we can call this one finished. So I'm just going to clear up all my mess and I shall be back to show you what this looks like. And here's our finished mixed media mood project. Really happy. Absolutely loved this this colour combination of the copper and the teal. Really inspired by the pictures. Again, I'll pop this on the blog. Have a look on. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to look at this, print it off, use it, be inspired by it. But I hope you can see that we've found something from each picture. Obviously in the top left there's this beautiful bouquet, so we've got the flowers, where we've got the oranges, the blues, the creams of the foliage. We've even got some little blue leaves in there as well. Taking inspiration from that ceramic lamp, we've got the beautiful copper drips on the teal background. Again, at the bottom we have the berries, the leaves, so we took inspiration from the shape of the leaves in that and used those little chipboard leaves. The main image with the dress, with the sequins, so we've got the little beads and the sequins, just adding that beautiful shimmer and almost like a little shower of sparkles. And at the bottom, that image with the ceramic tiles in the background, I took inspiration and used the little chipboard screen. I know most of that is now covered up, but it's in there. You can see bits of it peeping through, and that was sort of the base of our framework. And the copper pots there, we've actually got the metal leaf here that's giving some real nice metallic glints as well. So I hope that you can see how, you know, sometimes just by taking a selection of pictures in the same way, I've done similar things with a colour palette, and it's just a jumping point really for your project. And you don't have to, you can sort of interpret it any way you want. You can look at the colours, you can look at the textures, look at the shapes, just be inspired by it. And I really love this piece that we've got here, and I should be popping that up on display along with the other couple that I did at the beginning of the year. I will link to those in the end card that I did start a playlist with those, so please do go and check them out if this is something that you quite like to have a go at. But for now, that's all. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you again soon. Bye.